24% of all UK car driver deaths last year involved someone over 70. Road safety experts say most of it comes down to one thing: the wrong car. We spoke to what doctors and road safety experts actually recommend and found the 8 SUVs specifically built to protect senior drivers, counting down from number 8. But stay with us until the end, because the car at number 1 has a feature most dealerships won't even tell you about. One that road safety experts say could be the difference between walking away from a crash and not walking away at all. Starting at the bottom of our list. Number 8. Hyundai Tucson. Vision changes rarely announce themselves clearly. Peripheral awareness narrows gradually, night driving becomes harder to judge, and most people adjust their habits around it long before they describe themselves as having a problem at all. Researchers studying older drivers have repeatedly pointed to exactly this kind of gradual decline as a major factor behind slower reactions at junctions and roundabouts, not a single dramatic loss of sight. The Tucson's raised seating position is built to work with that reality, giving you a genuinely commanding view over traffic and hedgerows without needing to crane your neck forward to compensate. New prices start around £30,000. What makes this one different is how it handles blind spots specifically. Rather than a small warning light in the mirror that's easy to miss, many Tucson models display a live camera feed of your blind spot directly in the driver's screen the moment you indicate, letting you actually see what's there instead of relying on memory or a quick glance. For anyone with reduced neck rotation, that distinction is genuinely practical rather than cosmetic. Forward collision warning, lane keeping assist, and a rear view camera all come as standard, meaning this level of protection isn't locked behind an expensive options list. Number 7. Kia Niro. Here's something worth understanding properly before we go further. Hip flexibility and knee strength both decline gradually after 60, and the movement of lowering yourself into a low seat, then pushing back up out of it, becomes noticeably harder years before most people admit it to themselves. This is one of the leading causes of falls near vehicles reported in road safety studies involving older drivers. The Niro's high driving position is built directly around that reality, letting you lower yourself in and push yourself back up using your own body weight naturally, rather than crouching down or hauling yourself upward with your arms. New prices start around £29,500 for the hybrid version. What separates this car from others on the list is running cost. The hybrid powertrain avoids the jerky gear changes and sudden engine shudders that can genuinely startle a driver at a junction, delivering smooth, predictable power instead. For anyone managing a fixed retirement income, the reduced fuel spend adds up meaningfully across a year, easing exactly the kind of financial pressure that research keeps flagging as a health risk in itself. The infotainment system uses large icons and simple menus rather than confusing layered screens. Kia also backs the car with one of the longest warranties sold in the UK, giving real reassurance if something goes wrong years down the line. Number 6. Skoda Kamiq. Most people shopping for a car in their 60s or 70s focus entirely on comfort and forget about something occupational therapists flag constantly: the angle at which you bend to sit down. Getting into a car that sits too low forces your knees to take your full body weight as you lower yourself, and that repeated strain is exactly what accelerates joint pain and increases fall risk over time, according to research into mobility and aging. The Kamiq solves this by sitting at a height where you can lower yourself in with almost no bend at all, easing pressure on hips and knees rather than working against them. New prices start around £22,500, making it one of the more affordable entries on this list, without cutting corners on what actually matters day to day. The door openings are wide enough that you're not twisting sideways to squeeze in, and the boot floor sits at a height that avoids the awkward upward lifting motion. Inside, the dashboard uses simple physical dials, rather than burying every function inside a touchscreen menu. For anyone downsizing but unwilling to give up comfort, this is a genuinely overlooked option worth taking seriously. Number 5. Volkswagen Tiguan. For someone living on a fixed retirement income, a surprise repair bill isn't just inconvenient, it's a genuine health stressor. The Tiguan is built around avoiding that problem entirely, with a long-standing reputation for mechanical dependability that keeps unplanned garage visits rare rather than routine. New prices start around £31,000. The seats sit at a slightly raised height, and the door openings are genuinely wide, easing the twisting and ducking motion that becomes uncomfortable as shoulders and hips stiffen with age. Adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and a rear-view camera all come as standard, reducing the mental workload of motorway driving and tight parking maneuvers alike, lowering exactly the kind of cognitive strain researchers associate with slower processing speed in older drivers. The cabin stays notably quiet at speed too, which matters more than people expect. Constant background noise forces the brain to work harder to filter it out, a form of fatigue hearing researchers describe as especially pronounced in people wearing hearing aids or already prone to tiring on longer drives. It's not a flashy car, and that's exactly the point. Number 4. Nissan Qashqai. Here's a problem that doesn't get talked about enough. Reaction time slows gradually with age, and the difference often isn't in how fast someone can react, it's in how much mental effort it now takes to process a sudden change on the road before responding to it at all. Driving researchers have described this as increased cognitive load rather than simple slowness, and it's precisely why a car that requires less physical effort to control can genuinely free up the mental bandwidth needed to react safely. The Qashqai is built specifically around reducing that effort, with steering that's noticeably light and pedals that respond gently rather than sharply. New prices start around £29,000. Unlike a taller, heavier SUV, the Qashqai drives with the simplicity of a hatchback while still giving you the elevated seating position that makes judging traffic and distances easier. Parking sensors, a reversing camera, and blind spot alerts all come fitted as standard, taking pressure off tight maneuvers in crowded car parks, precisely the kind of scenario road safety studies flag as demanding the most mental effort for aging drivers. The boot opens wide and sits at a manageable height for loading shopping without excessive bending. For anyone whose confidence behind the wheel has quietly started to waver, this is one of the most forgiving cars on the entire list to simply live with. Number 3. Subaru Forester. This next point matters medically more than people realize. Depth perception and peripheral vision both narrow with age, often without the driver noticing until a near miss makes it obvious. Vision specialists have pointed to exactly this kind of narrowing field of view as a leading contributor to junction collisions among older drivers. Not poor judgment, but simply not seeing what's there in time. The Forester is engineered specifically around that decline, with large windows and slim windscreen pillars that dramatically widen what you can actually see in every direction. New prices start around £32,000. What separates this car from everything else on the list is Subaru's eyesight system, fitted as standard rather than optional. It uses 2 cameras rather than 1 to constantly monitor the road ahead, and if you don't react in time to something stopping suddenly, the car can brake on your behalf. Road safety researchers have specifically flagged delayed braking response as one of the most common factors in rear-end collisions involving older drivers, which is exactly the gap this system is built to close. For anyone whose reflexes have slowed even slightly, that's a genuine safety net, not a marketing gimmick. All-wheel drive comes standard too, offering real stability on wet or icy roads without needing any extra thought from you. Number 2. Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. Here's something worth understanding properly. Chronic worry about breakdowns and repair costs doesn't just cause stress in the moment. Health researchers have linked ongoing financial anxiety in older adults to measurable increases in blood pressure and disrupted sleep over time. A slow, cumulative toll rather than a one-off event. The RAV4 Hybrid is built to remove that specific source of worry, backed by decades of real ownership data showing consistently low breakdown rates rather than just a reputation on paper. New prices start around £33,500. The hybrid system itself solves a separate physical problem too. There's no jerky gear changing and no sudden engine shudder pulling away from a junction, just smooth, gentle acceleration. Toyota Safety Sense comes fitted as standard on every trim, including automatic braking that can detect a pedestrian and stop the car even if you don't react yourself in time. Directly targeting the delayed reaction times, road safety studies consistently linked to older drivers. Parts and servicing are widely available at ordinary local garages rather than only expensive main dealers, keeping costs predictable. The RAV4 also holds its value exceptionally well, meaning if you eventually stop driving, you recover a meaningful portion of what you paid. Number 1. Volvo XC60. This is the point where the conversation stops being about comfort and becomes about survival. Medical events behind the wheel, a sudden drop in blood sugar, a brief dizzy spell, a momentary lapse in attention become measurably more common with age, and road safety researchers have specifically flagged these moments as a leading cause of serious accidents among older drivers. The XC60 is engineered directly around this exact risk in a way nothing else on this list attempts to match. New prices start around £47,000. Volvo's city safety system doesn't just watch for other cars, it actively looks for pedestrians, cyclists, and even large animals, applying the brakes automatically if you don't react in time yourself. But the feature that genuinely sets this car apart is what happens if you drift toward oncoming traffic or begin to leave the road entirely. This addresses exactly what researchers describe as one of the most dangerous moments on the road for an older driver, a sudden physical or cognitive lapse with no warning beforehand. The car can detect that drift, steer you back, and brake on its own, intervening in exactly the kind of moment that could otherwise cost a life. The seats were developed with input from orthopedic specialists for genuine, long drive comfort. An optional SOS button connects you directly to emergency help at the press of one control, sending your exact location the instant you need it.